What's bappling, Chaplain? What's up? Welcome back to another watch along, if you will. We are watching Tickled today. I've been on a bit of a documentary binge. This is one of them that has always been on my watch list because it seems really interesting. It's basically about underground professional tickling. Just a bizarre concept, to say the least. You can watch this one on the Roku channel for free if you want to watch along with me. It's on the Roku channel for free. And as a heads up, because I'm also watching the Roku channel, I think there might be commercials. I'm not 100% sure, so we'll see. So that could affect the clock if you're watching this without commercials. But I don't have this on physical yet. If I like it, I'll probably get it, but I wanted to really watch it, and it was on here. So we're going to get this shindig started here in just a secky poo. I need to get this thing. I need to get something rendering before we start. So how's your morning? I thought I had this downloaded beforehand, but it didn't download. So, all right. So let's 3, 2, 1. Oh shit! Hold on. I gotta restart. My thing didn't go through. 3, 2, 1. Okay, there we go. For some reason, it didn't start. The space tab was no bueno. But yeah, good morning. Good morning. It's Friday morning. We made it to Friday. Finally. You know what I mean? So, excited to finally watch this. Let's see what's going on. We're jamming out of the gate, that's for sure. So this is directed by David Farrier. It's a documentary. Holy shit, this is loud. That's a lot better. Who's a documentarian. He's got a new documentary that came out this year that looks kind of interesting too, and I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. I'd have to look it up. I'm just gonna say this: Australia and New Zealand have the best accents on the face of the planet. They're A tier. We're just kind of getting a little bit of a background on David Farrier. I've actually seen spoilers. I've actually seen the first like 10 minutes of this, and that was where I was like, I actually want to like sit down and watch this. I want to get this set to render out. Lordy, baby, what's up? Lordy's a good band. I don't know if Lordy is actually how you pronounce it, but Lordi, or is it Lodi? Okay, yeah, it's Lordy. He's like, I like discovering, I like covering weird things. So I found a strange video line. How did you come about underground tickling? Because I have ventured a lot of corners of the world, and I have no idea how you would come across that. I guess there's professionals in everything, and there's high level competition, everything, but just high level tickling just seems so weird. And these people don't look comfortable being here either. I got to be honest with you. This loud of laughing from tickling in my earphones is a little disturbing. It is weird to see them. They're like actually like decked out in like sportswear to do this too. It's all fun and games till your buddy's tickling you and you pop a boner. You know what I mean? It's all funny. They're very homophobic. Very. So he reached out and was like, "Hey, can we get like an interview on this?" And they're like, "We don't work with homosexuals." And it's like, you know what I mean? It's like he said exactly what I thought. He was like, it is weird because like the sport seems very the thing you're against, I guess. I didn't know J.K. Rowling ran this. I don't know if J.K. is actually homophobic. I know she's very turf though. What is happening here? There we go. Very homophobic. This company that he's claiming is very homophobic. All right, that's set to render now. I kind of agree with him. He's like, it's weird that they're like this like homophobic when the content they produce is the content they produce. And he's like, that sparked my curiosity. He's like, I'd probably be in the same boat. It'd be like, hey man, you know what I mean? What? The shell company, the I can't remember how he said it. It was a German company that owns 300 domains, all related to tickling. What is happening here? Also, what kind of life do you live where you're just chilling on your couch, searching up tickling, and you have a bird on your shoulder and a cat next to you? So this is where I stopped off. So I guess 6 minutes in. Yeah, there's something about like New Zealand or Australian accents that are just like so. You could just listen to them talk. That's crazy. They get a letter. Okay, trying to send a cease and assist from a lawyer who represented somebody who killed their boyfriend and sent body parts to politicians in Canada. That's wild. What could they really do internationally with like a lawsuit? What can you really do internationally? I guess I don't know law well enough, but I would just ignore them, I guess. I'd just be like, I'm in New Zealand. What are you gonna do about it? I like he went down there with like a super poppy sign, waiting on representatives from Jane O'Brien Media, the Tickle Media corporate glommet. You're gonna tell me he's like, I don't have money to hire a lawyer to fight the American legal system, and it's like you're wearing Tommy Hilfiger glasses. You have money. So he's meeting up with the guys that represent the company at the airport, and they all look like people who'd be involved in underground tickling. Like if you were like, hey, let's walk through this crowd and pick out people who you think would be involved with underground tickling, you would point at all three of these people before anybody else, especially the one in the gray suit with the glasses. Oh, it looks, yeah, he looks like, oh yeah, this dude is weird. He's giving me all kinds of bad vibes. I have terrible radar, except for psycho radar. I can point a psychopath out in a blind, like a dark, blind room where I could just be like, "That's the psycho." He's a psycho. This dude's a psycho. At least he's presenting those vibes. He's triggering my psycho alarm. The one younger boy that's with him is also really strange. Like, so the one guy's kind of normalish. There's three of them. There's a guy who was in a baseball cap, a guy in a gray suit, and then the younger, probably like 18 to 21 guy with him who looks bugged out. And then the one guy that I said's tripping the psycho alarm, he is like quintessential. Who's involved with underground tickling? That person is. I mean, all three of them you can pick out, but that one in particular. So they're going to meet up with him now. They want to do it off camera. Wonder if New Zealand's like Ohio, where it's a one-party consent state in terms of recordings. So like being in Ohio, I can record any conversation I want on the phone or on anything because it's a one-party consent. I kind of wonder if New Zealand's like that because clearly they nab some audio from this meetup. So they're basically here to intimidate him. They're like, hey man, like if you go through with this, just so you know, there's a lot of money backing this and you're going to have to fight, which is pretty scummy thing. And it just like, it's triggering every red flag in my body about this company. It's like, yeah, this is like setting off a lot of red flags. They attacked him at an airport. What? This is wild. So he's like, they basically was like, hey, knock this off or we're going to sue you. There's a lot of money involved, a lot of shady money. And he's like, you guys have like attacked me like every day. And he's like, you started it. We wouldn't attack you unless you started it. You started it. So yeah, he wants to meet, the one wants to meet up with him one-on-one. Oh, is Kevin the one who's triggering my red flags? Show him. I want to see if I was right. Oh, he totally is. That is his body shape. It's just showing this shadow figure. This is like straight up mobster shit. What the fuck? I like he won't say. David's like, we're gonna be fucked unless we stop, right? He's like, well, I'm not gonna use those words because that's a little profane. And it's like, but you're threatening. You just said that you don't have to dangle people out of buildings anymore because you can just sue them and shit. And it's like, what is happening? This is crazy. I like how he's throwing this Dylan underneath the bus because he was like, David's like, he's basically like, Dylan wants to still go through with this documentary, and they're like, man, we're gonna sue. This is crazy, the amount of threatening, like blatant threatening. Like, this is crazy to me, the amount of threatening they're doing. Yeah, me neither, David. He's like, I never heard threats in my life. I was like, this is wild. And yeah, and he's right. It's all about like tickling videos. He's just like, was like, this is a funny goof, a funny gaff. And they're like, we're going to ruin your life. And it's like, oh, hold up now. You know what I mean? It's like, we're here just like, this is just interesting. They're like, we're going to ruin your life. And it's like, oh, that's a bad sign. They reached out to 100 people that's been in the tickling videos, and they're like, I'm not talking. But they nabbed one. But that's not a good sign when most people are like, no, I don't think I'm going to talk about this. So is Kevin the gray suit man, the psycho alarmer? Is he like the head of this thing? Is he like Jane O'Brien Media? So the guy's talking about his story about being desperate and was offered $2,000 to do this tickling video. Oh, this is getting worse, man. Because he's saying he had no idea what was going on. So he didn't know he was going to get like tied down and everything. I'd be like, I don't think so. This is so awkward to watch. The tickling, this is so weird. This is so weird. And then more and more people just keep showing up into this. This is really uncomfortable watching. I think this Jane O'Brien Media is just this Kevin guy. He's saying the video kind of came back to haunt him. I want to know why. Yeah, I don't think there's a Jane that works at Jane O'Brien. I think it's just Kevin and the other ones. Dude, they're unhinged. So the guy wanted the video down because it's kind of like messing with his like rep. So he filed to get the YouTube videos taken down, and it worked. And then they start blowing up his email being like, oh, you don't understand the magnitude you're in, son. You don't understand how bad you goofed up, son. You don't understand, son. And they just started like reposting a ton of their vids. A ton of his vids. All over the place of this. They doxed him. Wow, this is crazy. So he was a football coach. Yo, this is wild. What is happening in this? This is crazy. So he was a high school football coach because he had, I think it was college football is what he said. And they're like reaching out like to the school and being like, hey, you don't want him involved because he's gay with a tickle fetish and a child molester and stuff. And it's like, whoa, some really unhinged stuff. Oh, that's sad. They find the videos and they kick him off the football teams. So they're like kind of single-handedly ruining this dude's life. That's messed up. I don't believe there's a Debbie Coon. I think it's Kevin. It's this guy Kevin. That's what I think. Everything's this guy Kevin. I actually think the other two people that came with him to the airport were elaborate animatronics. And it's all just Kevin. That's crazy. I guess he's not the only one they've done this to. They're on like straight up like undercover stakes trying to find one of these professional photo shoots. They're in it. They went to America. That's sweet. Just Kevin clones and masks. Exactly. Just Kevin clones and masks. It was Kevin all along. Okay, there's one of the three that went to New Zealand to meet up. Don't do it, boys. These people are crazy. There's all three of them. There's Kevin. There's Kevin. I don't know how they said it. I wanted to mimic their accent, but I'm not very good at it. I like the editing choice to have like a laughter going on. They could actually hear the laughter staking out. That's wild. That's wild. Why are they always decked out in Adidas clothes? Is it so they look more sports-like? Do it. He's like, I don't want to storm into the studio with pending lawsuits. It's like, do it. There are very few things that I believe I could be good at with no context. Competitive tickling is one of them. Well, I think they do $2,000 video. The only problem is I think they mainly want men, which is funny because they're very homophobic. They're doing it. They're just storming into the place. Let's go. Do it. Get in there. Hey, Kevin. Marco. Kevin. Oh, you can see in the one in the background. It's like, oh shit, what the hell? Oh, massive respect to David Farrier for this. Yeah, they didn't get through the door. Oh, David, you should have barged in more instead of just walking up to the door. What is David Farrier's new movie, by the way? Because I saw it on I saw it advertised and it seemed really interesting. Mr. Organ. It's called Mr. Organ. I really like his personality as like a documentary lead. He's got like a good vibe. He almost has like a YouTuber-ish vibe to him, but with like, you know, a lot stronger production quality. Not saying YouTubers can't have higher production quality, just it's like a YouTuber personality in a real, I don't even want to say real documentary, but in a traditional documentary, maybe it doesn't have the YouTube documentary vibe to it. Because I do think it's like a second subgenre. It has a YouTube documentaries have a certain vibe to them. If that makes any sense. No shit. And I'm convinced, even with the Adidas gear, that it is not a real sport. It's like, yeah, no kidding. it's a fetish thing. This is like one of those lightning in a bottle documentaries because you just found the most bizarre story. So it doesn't really matter how much further it goes, like in terms of like quality of the actual like video and stuff. It's just a fascinating story. So they found somebody who's into tickling, and he's talking about how it's very similar to like BDSM, but it's way toned down. Richard Ivy, tickling fetishist. And he looks like a go to church on. He doesn't give me the vibes that should show the difference. Is like this guy's open about it and talking about it, and he looks like someone who would go to like church every Sunday kind of thing, where the other guys look like they would be involved with underground tickling. So he has his own professional tickling site. That's wild. My Friend's Feet. That's the name of the site. Hey, yo, do a flip. Desi Fat Fingers. Nice name. I feel like the site is very similar to the one Peggy Hill got roped into that one episode. Yeah, it kind of has the same vibes. It's funny, just like he got someone who's like totally open about it, and then you have the other ones who are being real shady about it. How do you enjoy being tickled? I'm just saying. The whole aspect of going through this tickling thing is just really weird. It's just a weird prospect. Like, one, people who enjoy being tickled. And then two, like, people who enjoy watching this. Because this is just bizarre. Like, I don't understand. Like, there's like... I will say this person's videos are a lot more lighthearted and less creepy than the other guy's videos. Because it doesn't have this weird air of like sketchness to them or the sport thing, you know? Trying to label it off as like some kind of weird e-girl sport, e-guy sport. I wonder if that's what makes the difference, is they're just open that this is a fetish video, and the other guys are like, no, it's a sport. It's competition. Sport. Sports! This is, okay, no, this is weird still to watch. It's less uncomfortable than the underground stuff, but it's still pretty weird, regardless. I like the way they edited this, though, because the editing in the documentary just made this a lot more unnerving. They're doing like slow motion with like kind of intense music and stuff. Made it a lot more unnerving. That's so weird, man. Yeah, I could see how if you did this video or one of these videos, it coming out would be kind of like super, I don't want that out there. But then again, you shouldn't do the video, right? But this is this is really strange. They've been tickling this dude for 20 minutes. According to the camera that they're filming. I couldn't even imagine 20 minutes of this. Ask him about Jane O'Brien Media. I'm curious to see what his thoughts are, this other tickled dude. So are they saying that Jane is like a investor style who's out there paying other people to make these videos for them? Or is that the assumption right now? Might be the assumption right now. I'm going to call it now. Terry's Kevin. Jane is Kevin. It's all Kevin. This is almost more disturbing. So it's cutting to like older footage from the late 90s or whatever. And it's at like VHS tape. And it makes it look way more disturbing. It's weird we're learning about the origins of this thing. Of like this fetish, you know? It's weird we're learning the origins to it, of being like, this is how it all started too. So the guy I talked to now is talking about how he started like competitive tickling and stuff with like the tickle wars and stuff. It's like, how did it get to? First off, how do you keep finding people who are okay with doing this? I guess maybe if you sell it to them, it's innocent. What's up, Saint Germany? Saint Just Germany. What's up? What's up, Lotus? I'm a meeting dog and can't watch the film with you. It's all right. It's pretty wild, Lotus. Definitely think you should check it out at some point, for sure. Hopefully out before 10. Right on. Just remember, Lotus, I'm not doing a magic stream today because I'm doing that interview. I'm doing an interview with GN today. Hashtag watch along. Yep, we're watching along with Tickled. It's a documentary about underground professional tickling, and it has been a pretty wild ride so far. Yeah, I guess if you sell this to people that it's like an innocent just tickling thing, they'd probably go along with it. And it's probably not until afterwards they're like, "Oh, that was weird." Ah, so this Terry, this Terry's doing the same tactics as Jane's doing now. So the guy who made a ton of videos for this Terry, everybody pretty much signed saying, "Hey, if this is for a private collection, it's cool." Well, she started posting them online, and the dude was like, "Hey, not cool that they didn't agree to this. This isn't right." And they were like, "Hey, I'm just going to do the thing that Jane's doing now, which is just posting websites with their names and all their videos and stuff, and just like doxing them and stuff." Ooh, they had to do the conceal identity interview. I guess the moral of the story so far is is always think before you do, especially if it's going to be filmed. You know what I mean? I will say I thought there were supposed to be ad breaks with this being on the Roku channel, but there's not been one yet. Knock on desk. Ooh, excuse me. So the guy used to film for her quit when she broke his like breach of contract, and here comes in like all the threatening like bombardment messages. Dude, some of the stuff this person says is like some of those vile shit you could say to somebody. I mean, just some of the stuff they say to these people, like in their threats, is just so gnarly. This David guy who did all the filming in their like late '90s, early 2000s, or whenever, um, who filmed the videos for her and stuff, like you can tell he's a weirdo, right? And he's done some weird things in the past, but at the same time, he seems like kind of a sweetheart. You know what I mean? It's really weird. They have a piece of unopened mail that opened really easy. I guess it'd probably be older, right? It's kind of wild. It's got to be Kevin. It's got to be Kevin. Sorry, getting tired, man. I'm just saying Terry has to be Jane, right? It's literally what he just said. I was like, they gotta be the same, right? And he's like, they sound like the same. Huh. That's interesting. So my question is like, did this person have money to start this thing, or like, what did they do to get money to start this thing? Because they're like sending thousands of dollars out, concert tickets, all kinds of stuff to do these tickling videos, to like bribe these people into doing tickling videos and stuff. I'm calling now. It's Kevin. My radar went off too hard with Kevin. It's Kevin. Kevin is Terry. Kevin is Jane. Kevin is Kevin. Kevin is also Marco and Adam. Oh, jeez, Pete. It's one of those mornings where I can't stop yawning, you know. So there's been other articles written about this tickling thing in the past. That's crazy. It's crazy this is something that's been covered for several years now. Oh, they were dossing him? That's crazy. So they email bombed the White House, routing it to be him. That is crazy. What? Yeah, I want to know what the zip file is. What is in the zip file? Is it Kevin? David D? Dave D. Whoever Dave D is. David. P. D'Amato. That's who. I mean, we all saw that coming, right? That she was really a he. So Terry's real name is David P. Amato. I'm telling you, it's Kevin. I'm still content. I'm still assistant principal. Oh boy. Yep, that sounds about right. Dave's just too small and Kevin's yeah. Dave is just too small. Kevin's in a trench coat. True. Yeah. Yeah, that's wild. But the amount of like harassment and amount of like stuff they've been doing, you know, they're doing some of this in school time too. He worked at 8 schools in 10 years. Damn. Oh, so he jacked the dead woman's identity. There's a real Terry. He jacked her identity. Is it Kevin? Come on, that's a blurry photo, and that looks a lot like Kevin's face. Show us Kevin. Show us Kevin. So they arrested him. He got off easy, but like I don't think he did a ton of stuff illegal. I guess the harassment is just harassment, right? I guess you could blackmail. I guess you could get him for is blackmail and identity theft are the two things. So David was synced up with a huge law firm. He has family in a huge law firm. So he basically got away scot free. Sounds about right. He's gonna go to be a lawyer. That's wild. Someone who's a identity theft person, blackmailer. I'm telling you, Jane's just another dead person, probably. Actually, it might not be. It might just be fake, but dude, I'm telling you, that picture was left vague on purpose, but I'm telling you, it's gonna be Kevin. So even in jail, they were still doing this thing. What? So while they were in prison, they claimed that that was when they were sick. So back before they talked about Terry being sick, and that when she gets back online, they'll pay and all this other stuff. They're very sick. So he was in prison saying this and still doing this stuff and still saying it. That is wild. This person's a lunatic. I'm telling you, man, the tickling sport is really strange. It's got to be. Yeah, I was about to say. He's like, it seems like the facade of Terry dropped away in 2006, and guess what? Here a little bit. Here comes Jane O'Brien. Hey, what was that? I heard a thing go off, but I didn't see anything pop up on screen. Well, thank you, whatever that was. It must have been a YouTube thing, because I don't see anything on the Twitch feed. Because the YouTube alerts and stuff are still on here. Well, thank you. So there's another tickling operation, Michigan being ran by Jane. Send out death threats now. Is that a black magic camera they're using? I think they had a black magic camera set up. A pocket cinema camera. That'd be such a shitty camera to use for a documentary. As much as I love that camera, it's really bad for like something like this. At least in my opinion. I mean, it's a great looking camera, so I mean, if they were able to make it work. The film's done a really good job about explaining how this person or company goes through of like manipulating people and how they like selective target their talent. You know what I mean? What's this cage fight have to do with anything? Oh. So Jane O'Brien Media has something to do with an MMA branch, I guess, in Michigan. That's interesting. What? That's wild. So they're getting into it because it's not illegal to tickle your opponent to get out of a submission. That's wild, and that's why they want to get into mixed martial arts. They want to see the old counter tickle here. Oh, you got me a guillotine? Well, you gotta be faster than that, buddy. Y'all can't catch me. Tickle, tickle, tickle. Holy shit. Offered $30,000 and a 2014 Chevy Cruze to do it. Oh, if you get Asians or redheads, you get a bonus. It's the super rares and the ultra rares of the tickling world, apparently. $30,000. I would have to consider it for $30,000. Like, it's just tickling, right? Like, I don't care if it goes on your little fetish site. $30,000 is a lot of money. See, this one's a lot more fun in the sense of like they're like wrestling while tickling instead of just like holding somebody down and straddling them to tickle. This one's like a little bit more like aggressive, I guess. They're like wrestling each other. Well, this one not so much. This one's a little bit back to being weird, but you know what I mean. Oh yeah, they gotta. He's like, nobody's okay with these being on other websites. These were supposed to be like audition tapes or something, and it's like, well, yeah, they gotta get that ad rev. You know what I mean? I'm just curious what the outcome's going to be. I'm telling you, it's Kevin. Kevin's doing it all. Kevin's the tickle master here. Nobody knows who Jane O'Brien is. I'm telling you, it's Kevin. Kevin is Dave D'Amato or whatever his name was again. I'm just saying, if you're watching this and you see the timestamp, go to the movie and tell me that isn't the nastiest slice of pizza you've ever seen in your life. That was the grossest looking piece of pizza. It's weird how like far this web goes too. Like that's like the thing is like I kind of thought going into this it'd be like this one little like weird thing, you know? But as far as this like web has spun is really wild. Cuz it makes no sense to me. I don't know, I guess tickling's not my tickle, you know what I mean? But it's wild to me. David D'Amato. Like he said, do you know the name Dave D'Amato? And the guy went, that's wild. Just that affirmation being like they've dealt with this person. I'm telling you. I want to know where the money comes from. It's international. It's an international thing. I guess if you like specialize in like some kind of like weird fetish and you're like the Steve Jobs of the tickle world, you probably would have a ton of money, but like I want to know like where all this money just keeps coming from. I swear this like David D'Amato guy is just like he's like living this weird like super secret life of like where he's like I am a super secret spy. And it's like in reality you just make fetish tickle videos, but like the way he's got like this whole thing set up, he's like living this like weird Al Capone in the shadows kind of life. It's weird. Your producer's I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. The producer's like basically being like, hey, I don't want you provoking this stuff. Like the producer wants to pull from it. That's crazy. I'd be like, nah, dude, we're going after this. That's what I want to know. So it looks like co-director Dylan Reeve hasn't done anything else other than Tickled, really. Where David Farrier's went and done more stuff. It's pretty obvious how he gets his money, right? He sells all the fetish stuff. So his dad started that big law firm, right? I was telling you about. So he's wondering if there's still like he's getting some kind of money tie from that to help fund this whole shenanigan. Yeah, David, let's go. So David Farrier, the good David, the not Kevin David, is like someone's got to confront this bully. Lawyers or not. It's like, let's do it. Get him. Of course, this dude would drive Mercedes Benz. So I don't think it's Kevin because I don't think Kevin's in LA and Michigan at the same time, but you'll never know. I'm just saying the fuzzed out picture of David D'Amato looks awful lot like Kevin. There it is, boy. I like this. They're gonna like chase him down. The question is how good you're driving to trail somebody. So they have a car in between them right now. I want to see this confrontation. If it's Kevin, I'm gonna lose my shit. I'm preparing you. If they get out and confront this dude and it's Kevin, my mind's gonna blow. I want to see the big reveal here. Let's see this confrontation, baby. The guy went to Starbucks. Don't go to Starbucks. That's where David Farrier be waiting. Come on, be Kevin. I'm gonna lose my mind if it's Kevin. Just saying. I just don't see him being involved in the actual filming process. This dude Dave. It feels very much like let's feels very much like a let's get other people to do my dirty work for me. Oh, it's not. It's not Kevin. Damn, I was so they do look a lot alike. Like they could be some kind of weird brother relation, but I just like you came a long way to antagonize me, and the David Farrier's like, Well, you said you're going to sue me, so I just thought we could figure this thing out. You know that dude's like losing his mind right now, you know? So are we just assuming that Jane O'Brien is David then? David D'Amato or whatever his name is? They found a folder called My Documents. That's hilarious. The dude doxed himself? Really? That's hilarious. Oh my god, that's hilarious. He doxed himself having all of his stuff. All of his stuff, all the receipts are in this folder called My Documents that was online. That's hilarious. So he's filed fraudulent credit cards with Jane O'Brien. Okay, how does he fund it? Holy smokes. Yeah, it makes sense. He has almost 6 million. Because he's a trust fund baby. He's a trust fund baby. That's how he has his money. Oh, he's a trust fund baby. All that family money his dad worked up for weird tickling videos. Also, they went to the lawyer this time. Was like, hey, buddy, you want to rock and roll? So the real lawyer sent one to them, and all the other ones from the lawyer were forged by apparently David. So this lawyer didn't even know. I guess they were using the lawyer's address as like their corporate office address. That's wild. Well, I mean, it sounds like kind of a sleazebag lawyer anyway, that he's like representing murderers and weird abusive fetishists. Well, this was a wild ride. I wonder if this documentary like collapsed the empire. Is there like a there's some kind of short tickling documentary, The Tickle King? Follow-up tickle features new follow-up documenting the bizarre. So there is like a follow-up documentary. It's 20 minutes. I would assume it's a like a Blu-ray exclusive or something. So it looks like this is only available on DVD, which sucks. Yeah, I am curious. I am curious to see if this documentary kind of put a stop to his empire. Well, he's clearly gay because he's projecting with all of his really homophobic shit. Which is fine. Just admit, you know what I mean? It's okay to be gay. Just accept it. I don't know why you have to be so ruthless in your homophobia. Just own it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I do want to see. I wonder if I can find the documentary. Autumn, if you're still listening, we should look for Tickled. It's on DVD only. I want to see if we can find a copy of it out and about tomorrow. Because I am curious to see the follow-up. I want to see if the follow-up is on the DVD features. I would assume it is. I'd be really surprised if it isn't. Despite impersonating lawyers, creating fake identities, and harassing young men, David D'Amato has only ever been found guilty of 2 misdemeanor charges of computer fraud and abuse. This dude just keeps getting by with it. At the end of the time of completion of this film, David D'Amato had an office at a Long Island law firm. Documents obtained indicate he was employed by the firm as a senior legal consultant. After David D'Amato was captured on camera, all legal correspondence with documentary makers ceased. Debbie and Jane also fell silent. Interesting. That's interesting. Jane O'Brien Media still runs competitive endurance tickling shoots in Los Angeles and around the world. So no, nothing changed. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. We just have a really good documentary about a very, very strange story, and that's it. Nothing else came about. Nothing else is out here being like, hey, this person's a weirdo. He's a creep. And he's not even in trouble for credit card fraud. He's not in trouble for it. He just gets a slap on the wrist every time. It just shows if you have money, you can just get away with most any white collar thing. Like as long as you don't have an island or murder people, you can get away with stuff. But that's wild to me. Because like, imagine if an everyday person created credit card fraud. You'd be thrown in jail forever. You know what I mean? Let alone all the other shit he was doing. That was wild. That was a wild ride. That was a ride I was not really expecting. Like, I expected the documentary about be this underground tickling competition. I've always heard it was good. And then to actually, like, sit down and listen to him, I was like not listen to it, to watch it. sorry, they're going over like the music stuff right now. I was just like, you know what I mean? Like that was kind of that was kind of wild because it was just like I was not expecting it. Um, that's really cool too. They also credited the original videos that he used footage from like YouTube and Vimeo, and the timestamp where they're at. That's kind of funny, but yeah, pretty strange, pretty weird documentary. It was a story I thought would have been a little bit smaller scale, but to see this giant web of fraud and absolute bizarreness of this like weird world was pretty interesting. I do think the documentary might just be a little long, you know what I mean? There's like, I don't know, probably some of it could have been trimmed down to be a little bit leaner. Especially when we're talking to the guy who's like out and about, a tickle a tickle fetishist. Um, I think that could have been trimmed down a little bit. There were some like repeated like uses of footage and stuff that could have been trimmed down, and then there's like some weird like no audio. Well, I mean audio, but like music over top of the audio, like segue pieces that could have been trimmed as well. Um, a little bit just to make things a little bit leaner in that sense, at least for my tastes. I kind of would have maybe preferred that a little bit. It's one of those things where the documentary bar backs really hard off of just being a very interesting topic. That's my knee, by the way. Very interesting topic, and you're allowing to explore this world because you just have an interesting story you're able to present. But I do like David Farrier as a voice. He was our main narrator. He's the co-director along with Dylan Reeve, and he's like the main protagonist, right? He's the guy who you hear and see for 90% of the movie, and I like him. Like he's got a good personality for like journalism and stuff like this. Like I'm definitely curious to see his other works as well. Like I said, I think he just has a new documentary that just came out that I'm going to be interested in checking out. But yeah, overall, it's pretty good. It could have been trimmed a little bit, but it's a wild story, and the way David Farrier and crew went about interrogating and investigating was pretty enthralling. It's pretty interesting. You just kept wondering where this web would lead to, and you never really saw where it was going. I really thought it was gonna be Kevin at the end. I thought Kevin was gonna be the guy at the end, but nope, unfortunately not. Um, so yeah, so to just like dive through this world and to watch this like investigation stuff, it was pretty good. It's pretty interesting. I enjoyed it. I've been going through this documentary cycle for a little while now. I'm working on my documentary, kind of. I say kind of because I'm still trying to piece things together with it. But I wanted to get some inspiration, watch some documentaries, and this is one of them that's always been on my list to watch, and now I've watched it, and it's good. It's good. I've been able to trim off some documentaries I put off for a long time, including Dear Zachary, a letter to a son a letter to a son about his father, and They Shall Not Grow Old, along with the Leonard Cohen documentary. So I've been on a little bit of a documentary kick, and finally get to cross Tickled off because it was one that I've heard about for quite a while. I'm going to give the film a 7 out of 10. I think it's a 7. It's one of those documentaries where it's not like The Act of Killing, where it has like incredible like filmmaking tactics. This is very straightforward video journalism. You know, that's kind of what this is very straightforward video journalism, with a good centerpiece being David Farrier. Uh, David Farrier kind of puts me in a mind of in terms of like this documentary, very similar to something like a Michael Moore documentary, where you know Michael Moore is like a character of the documentary. He's like the lead of the documentary. It's kind of what I felt here, except for I think David Farrier is a little bit more enjoyable to see on screen in terms of like his personality, I guess. Like I said, I want to see more of stuff he does. That's the takeaway I got from this. Yeah, but it's a really fascinating story. It's a 7 out of 10 for me. I enjoyed it quite a bit. It's an interesting documentary that goes to some pretty interesting places. Um, yeah, yeah, good. I enjoyed it. I don't feel like I have a ton to say about it because it's just like, what can you say? You know what I mean? It's just wild. It's just a wild story, and it's like one of those movies where it's like it's good because I got to watch a wild story. It's just, it's interesting. I do like the approach of just we're just gonna confront this David Diamato in person and just be like, hey, bro, what's your deal? What's your deal, homie? You know what I mean? So pretty enjoyable. If you want to watch Tickled, it is on the Roku channel. So feel free to check it out. Very interesting. I have no clue what I'm watching next week. I normally decide like a day or two beforehand. I might do Cropsy next week, next Friday, because I want to see that too. It's another documentary. I think it's on Amazon Prime. I could see what I got on the shelves too to watch. So I don't know. But if you want to watch the full unedited watch alongs, you can follow me on Patreon or become a patron on Patreon, I should say. All of them will be uploaded there as Patreon exclusive content. And if you want to watch any of these live, you can head over to twitch.tv/themix/. I'm doing these on Fridays, along with other gaming streams and things along those courses. So I'm doing other things over there as well. So follow me on Twitch, and all the other links will be down in the description on YouTube. If you're watching this on Twitch, all my stuff are on my About page. I'm going to bounce for today. Thank you all for hanging out. Hopefully you enjoyed Tickled as much as I did. It was not a laugh. It was not a goof. It was very uncomfortable for a lot of it. But yeah. The world of underground professional tickling is not a world I think I want to be involved. I know $30,000. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of money to say no to. But I'm a bounce. See you, everybody.